together, one business, one family, and one home at a time. This is a place for makers, doers, and dreamers. It's where the global marketplace meets hometown values, where Americana isn't just a tradition, it's a way of life. Here, your experience makes the difference. With access to railroads, major waterways, and 8 different highways, this is a place in motion, sending goods, services, and ideas not just across the state, but across the world. And when the work ends, the day's just beginning, with beaches like West Beach in the Indiana Dunes National Park, exciting hiking and biking trails like the Diana of the Dunes Dare or the BMX track, and local treasures and exciting festivals, you'll know you're in more than just a bedroom community. From veterans of foreign wars to hometown heroes, our diversity is our strength, and we forge our future with the same flame as our steel. Oh, there's a place in the Midwest, and it's calling you home. The best part of Portage is what's next. The best part of Portage is you. There's more for you in Indiana. There's a place in the Midwest, 50 miles southeast of Chicago, nestled near the coast of Lake Michigan. It's a place driven by what's coming next, a place where industry is the lifeblood of its community, and its pulse is gritted with sand and steel, fire and smoke. It's a city building its future together, one business, one family, and one home at a time. This is a place for makers, doers, and dreamers. It's where the global marketplace meets hometown values, where Americana isn't just a tradition, it's a way of life. Here, your experience makes the difference. With access to railroads, major waterways, and 8 different highways, this is a place in motion, sending goods, services, and ideas not just across the state, but across the world. And when the work ends, the day's just beginning, with beaches like West Beach in the Indiana Dunes National Park, exciting hiking and biking trails like the Diana of the Dunes Dare or the BMX track, and local treasures and exciting festivals, you'll know you're in more than just a bedroom community. From veterans of foreign wars to hometown heroes, our diversity is our strength, and we forge our future with the same flame as our steel. Oh, there's a place in the Midwest, and it's calling you home. The best part of Portage is what's next. The best part of Portage is you. There's more for you in Indiana. There's a place in the Midwest, 50 miles southeast of Chicago, nestled near the coast of Lake Michigan. It's a place driven by what's coming next, a place where industry is the lifeblood of its community, and its pulse is gritted with sand and steel, fire and smoke. It's a city building its future together, one business, one family, and one home at a time. This is a place for makers.
Welcome to the April City Council meeting. Will you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Councilman Parnell, would you please lead us in prayer?
Let us pray together. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you, Lord, that you have allowed us to gather here tonight to take care of the city's business. We pray, Father, that you will give us wisdom and guidance, and may we be sensitive to the leadership of your Holy Spirit. We ask, Father, for your continued blessing upon the city of Portage and its residents. Our first responders as well, bless them, our police officers. And so, Father, we ask now that you will guide us and that you will receive honor and glory. This we ask in the name of Jesus our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Bob. Can we do the roll call?
Absolutely. Councilman Ferdinand Alvarez.
Here.
Councilwoman Melissa Weidenbach. Here. Councilwoman Gina Geis-Hurst.
Here.
Councilman Bob Parnell.
Here.
Councilwoman Victoria Vasquez.
Here.
Councilwoman Penny Embler.
Here.
Councilman Colonzilli.
Here.
Thank you. Did everyone have a chance to look at the minutes from our March 4th, 2025 meeting? If there's no corrections, is there a motion? Or if there are corrections, could we hear them?
Motion to approve.
A second.
We've got a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We get to communications, correspondence, and announcements from the mayor. So I have two. So yesterday was Youth and Government Day. Normally that's a Tuesday, but I believe it might have had to do with the fact that today was Career Fair Day at the high school. It got moved to a Monday. If that's not the reason, I apologize for the fake news, but I think that's a reason. We had 10 amazing high school students come yesterday. They shadowed myself, the clerk treasurer, the different departments. At the end, they did a mock city council meeting. If my memory serves me, I think they legalized chickens in a reenactment of our city's dramatic legalization of chickens. And I think, did you guys ban fireworks? I was out of the meeting for the fireworks one. They approved fireworks. Okay, good, good. Well, I mean, good either way. That's democracy. So all that said and done, where did Mike go? I was just about to say something positive about him. Darn it. I guess I'm going to have to say something about the, oh, that's different. I was going to say something positive about the firefighters, but now I'll be neutral. Would you like to come up and just introduce yourself? I just wanted to say how much I appreciated that you came to the council meeting today. I was going to have Mike introduce you, but...
Hi, so I'm Jordan Campbell, and I'm a senior from Portage High School. And I came and participated in the Youth Government Day because I'm heading off to IU Bloomington, and I'm going to be studying international studies and moving on to become a human rights activist. So it was really fun and educational to come and learn more about the process. And also, I got to be the chief of police, which was really fun. And I'm really glad I got the opportunity to come and participate.
Thank you so much, and thank you for coming back.
Good luck with school.
I also have a proclamation to be read. To all whom these presents may come greeting, whereas April 2025 is the 22nd annual National Donate Life Month, a time to raise awareness for organ, eye, and tissue donation, encourage Americans to register as donors, and honor those who have saved and healed lives through the gift of donation, and whereas a person's gender, gender identity, gender expression, or sexual orientation does not prevent that person from being an organ donor, deceased or living, and whereas 95% of Americans support organ donation, but only 48% register, yet one donor can save up to 8 lives through organ donation, save and heal more than 75 lives through tissue donation, save up to 3 lives through blood donation, and help restore sight in up to 2 people through corneal transplants. And whereas in 2024, a record 48,149 transplants were performed in the U.S., and whereas registering gives hope to the 103,000 plus people waiting for a life-saving organ transplant in the U.S., while compassionately celebrating donors and their families for giving the gift of life, and whereas organ, eye, and tissue donation is only possible with our communities and partners coming together for one united purpose, saying yes to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor is not just checking a box, it is saving and healing lives. Therefore, I, Austin Bonta, Mayor of the City of Portage, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2025 as National Donate Life Month in the City of Portage, and encourage all residents to consider sharing the gift of life and hope with those in need of a life-saving or life-enhancing transplant by becoming an organ, eye, tissue, marrow, or blood donor. In testimony whereof I have, hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the great seal of the City of Portage in the state of Indiana this first day of April, year 2025. I'll just go ahead and I'll sign that, but I wanted to make sure that was read into the record. Thank you. I'm sure there'll be more to say in the course of the meeting, but I'll turn it over to the clerk treasurer's office.
Okay, as I stated in February, We are working on implementing new standard operating procedures in my office to align with the State Board of Accounts guidelines. We are going to be rolling out new procedures for the claims process, hopefully within a week or two. These changes will ensure that there are checks and balances as are being adhered to, as well as making the department heads more responsible for the monitoring of their budgets and their spending habits. We just corrected or did corrective action plans that we were required to do because of our last audit, and we submitted them to the State Board of Accounts, and I do want to say that all of them were approved. Anybody that wants a copy of them, I will provide a copy of what we submitted that were approved to any council member, and I'll probably put it out on the webpage also. We are reviewing all outdated ordinances, and we have started a few drafts, and they will be sent to the attorney prior to submitting it to the ordinance committee for review. In early April, department heads will be receiving a spreadsheet, and I will be asking them to complete with their respective capital assets, because that's one of the things we got dinged for, and probably 6 times in the past for previous audits. So that's a priority of mine. I want to get that done before the end of the year. So if the department heads could help me with that, it would be greatly appreciated. We are 25% of our way through the year. Therefore, we are asking that all department heads review their appropriations and determine if they are aligned with their adopted budget. So if you look at the report and you see that you have less than 75% of your budget left, then it is, if you would be kind to be fiscally responsible and determine what costs, if any, can be reduced, or else we can have a meeting about it and discuss it with the mayor, myself, and the budget committee. We installed a new mailbox in City Hall. Everybody, all the departments have a slot in the new mailbox. The council members have a slot also in the new mailbox, and also the city attorneys for all the boards. If you could check your mailbox periodically, it would be greatly appreciated. You can see the mailbox from the door outside, so you can see if you have any mail. I also wanted to say I attended the clerk treasurer school in Indianapolis, and I learned a lot of tax information, a lot about the cap, which helped me when we submitted our cap, when we wrote it up. A lot about a lot of different things. It was very intense. I went to school from Sunday through Thursday for at least 8 hours each day. Some days were 12 hours long. In May, we will begin our pre-budget workshop. If anybody has any questions, my office is always free to take calls. I'm available for any calls that you might have, any questions. If I can answer it, I will, and if I can't, then I will get back with you with an answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. That'll get us to unfinished business, ordinance 2522, consumer use of fireworks. This was requested at the last meeting to be continued to this meeting. Unless something has changed, the chief has asked me if this could be continued as well. I don't want to be giving you guys like a trick. We absolutely want this addressed. I assure you it's been a busy month. I just don't know if we've had the opportunity on the legal side to review the questions that were in there. I'm opening up that, of course, to you guys, but that's the request from the chief.
Yeah, we did not get an opportunity to work on some of the language with the legal, so I don't really feel comfortable moving forward with it, if that's all right with you guys.
Thank you.
Make a motion to table.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That gets us to new business, tax abatement for CF1 Gelnex. Did I pronounce it right?
Yes.
And then I would also add that for B, there's the tax abatement CF1 for Conradi Plastics. I would just state that both of these, they're not new tax abatements. These are the annual renewals that come through. If you have questions about that, we can go with the attorney, but it's a pretty simple one.
I'll make a motion to approve both CF1s for Gelnex and Conradi Plastics.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. For items C and D, we have RDC temp loan for the MOU for $700,000 for public safety equipment, and we have RDC temp loan MOU for $1,897,928 for sanitation CNG trucks. Both of these are in reference to loans that were already approved. Upon attorney review, it was noted that we would benefit from having documentation of a signed MOU between the RDC and the council. Attorney McClure, is there anything more I need to say in describing what these are?
No, just bookkeeping for not only the council, but the redevelopment commission, and then also the clerk treasurer, so everybody knows how we got to where we got.
This is something that in the future, if we do loans between anybody, but certainly RDC and the council, will do this at the same time in the future, but I appreciate the legal review that led to these being created.
And no changes from the originals, correct?
I believe it's the agreement as made.
Yeah, my understanding is that's the agreement, everyone's understanding, put on paper for everyone to review and ask questions and hopefully approve.
Thank you.
So I'll make a motion to approve the RDC temp loan MOU for public safety equipment.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
And then we have the temp loan MOU for the sanitation CNG trucks, if anyone's inclined to make a motion.
I'll make a motion for the RDC temp loan MOU for the sanitation CNG trucks.
I'll second.
We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
That gets us to introduction of ordinances. Ordinance 25-23, an ordinance amending Chapter 90, Article 5 of the City of Portage Municipal Code entitled Zoning Map for Ladybug Laundromat. Just explain for a zoning change, and I believe the attorney can correct me if I'm wrong, this is obligated to have 2 readings, so we're going to have our first reading here. Second reading and vote has to happen with a public hearing at the next city council meeting. I'll ask if Councilwoman Victoria Vasquez, would you be willing to read that for us?
Absolutely. So, ordinance number 25-23, an ordinance of the City of Portage, Indiana, amending Chapter 90, Article 5 of the City of Portage Municipal Code entitled Zoning Map. Be it, and it hereby is ordained by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana, as follows. Section 1. This ordinance shall amend Chapter 90, Article 5 of the City of Portage Municipal Code and accompanying zoning map in the following manner. The zoning shall be changed from OC, Office Commercial, to C1, Small Medium Scale Commercial for 2852 Willow Creek Road. The legal description listed below, parcel description 1.45 acres plus or minus. A parcel of land in the northeast quarter of the southeast quarter of Section 14, Township 36 North, Range 7 West of the second principal meridian, Porter County, Indiana, described as follows. Commencing at a point as now marked by an iron pin 998.55 feet south of the northeast corner of said southeast quarter of said Section 14, then south along the east line of said Section 211.2 feet to a point as now marked by an iron pin, thence west making a northwest angle of 89 degrees, 09 minutes with said east line, a distance of 412.5 feet to an iron pipe as now located. Thence north parallel with said east line, 211.2 feet to an iron pipe is now located. Thence east 412.5 feet to the point of commencement, and also being known as lots 26 and 29 in Nelson's unrecorded subdivision. Accepting therefrom the following parcel to wit, a part of lots 26 and 29 in Nelson's unrecorded subdivision, an unrecorded subdivision in the east half of the southeast quarter of Section 14, Township 36, North Range 7 West, Porter County, Indiana, described as follows. Commencing at the northeast corner of said quarter section, then south 00 degrees, 40 minutes, 47 seconds east, 998.55 feet along the east line of said quarter section to the northeast corner of said lot 6, thence north 89 degrees, 49 minutes, 47 seconds west, 25 feet along the north line of said lot, to the west boundary of Willow Creek Road and to the point of beginning of this description. Then south 0 degrees, 40 minutes, 47 seconds east, 211.20 feet along the boundary of said Willow Creek Road to the south line of said Lot 29. Then north 89 degrees, 49 minutes, 47 seconds west, 45.01 feet along said south line. Then north 70 degrees, 24 minutes, 55 seconds east, 21.14 feet. Then north 0 degrees, 40 minutes, 47 seconds west, 204.05 feet in the north line of said Lot 26. Then south 89 degrees, 49 minutes, 47 seconds east, 25.0 feet along said north line to the point of beginning. Exception 2, KJ Development 1 LLC, document 2024-004526, a parcel of land in the southeast quarter of Section 14, Township 36, North Range 7, west of the second principal meridian in the city of Portage in Porter County, Indiana, described as follows. Commencing at the northeast corner of said southeast quarter, then south 0 degrees, 40 minutes, 17 seconds east along the east line of said southeast quarter, 787.35 feet. Assumed basis of bearings is the east line of the southeast quarter of Section 14, Township 36, North Range 7, west, being south 0 degrees, 40 minutes, 17 seconds east. Then north 89 degrees, 49 minutes, 47 seconds west, 50.01 feet to a point on the westerly right-of-way line of Willow Creek Road. Then south 0 degrees, 40 minutes, 47 seconds east, 333.84 feet, along said westerly right-of-way line to the point of beginning. Then continuing south 00 degrees, 40 minutes, 47 seconds east, 81.41 feet. Then south 70 degrees, 24 minutes, 55 seconds, west 21.14 feet. Then south 89 degrees, 49 minutes, 14 seconds, east 20 feet. Then south 0 degrees, 40 minutes, 47 seconds, east 75.85 feet. Then south 70 degrees, 11 minutes, 47 seconds, west 20.82 feet. Then south 84 degrees, 32 minutes, 45 seconds, west 143.28 feet. Then north 0 degrees, 40 minutes, 43 seconds, west 97.01 feet. Then north 12 degrees, 48 minutes, 55 seconds, east 76 feet. Then north 45 degrees, 0 minutes, 0 seconds, east 17.23 feet. Then north 89 degrees, 13 minutes, 46 seconds, east 132.38 feet to the point of beginning. Section 2, conditions precedent, excluding gas stations and car washes from permitted uses. Section 3, conflicting ordinances. Any ordinances or provision of any ordinance of the City of Portage in conflict with the provisions of this ordinance is hereby repealed. Section 4, severability. The invalidity of any section, clause, sentence, or provision of this ordinance shall not affect the validity of any other part of this ordinance which can be given effect without such invalid part or parts. Section 5, effective date. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and adoption by the Common Council and approval by the Mayor of the City of Portage, Indiana. Passed and adopted by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana, the date and time to be determined.
I think you might need to say, let the record reflect.
And let the record reflect that's all been read.
Can we just give her a round of applause? That was pretty incredible. Victoria, that was the most epic reading of a zoning change I've ever heard. I'm not going to tell anyone where this is. You listen to her. You can watch this meeting on YouTube. Go on GIS and you can figure that out. I buried a Bigby coupon in the location that she described, but of course you can't dig there, I guess, until they break ground, if they break ground. So someone is on their... Thank you so much, and you don't have to read anything else today. I appreciate it. But it is, assuming the zoning change passes, it's a laundromat. And it, as noted, can't be a car wash or a gas station. They can't trick us if this passes. All right. That gets us to Ordinance 2524, an ordinance amending rates and charges of the City of Portage Municipal Wastewater Utility and Storm Utility. I'm sure that someone's watching the meeting and just got terrified by what I just said. This is a proposal not for residents getting billed directly. This is the what I've sometimes called an impact fee, although I understand legally speaking that term does not exist in this regard. But these are the fee increases that we discussed in previous meetings, getting them set up to apply for new developments so that they're able to pay for their maintenance in the future, keep us up with the cost of any developments as they come. Attorney McClure, there were actually two resolutions. One was at the storm meeting, and then one was at the sanitary. They both passed and have been sent. Does that impact how these need to be read, or is what was submitted sufficient?
No, what was submitted is sufficient. Tonight, we just need to announce the possibility on first reading of this ordinance, and then the clerk treasurer's office has some publication to do in preparation of the next council meeting for it to be properly published pursuant to the statute. So we are in line with the proper process.
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask if Councilwoman Weidenbach, could you read that for us?
Ordinance number 2524, an ordinance amending rates and charges for the City of Portage Municipal Wastewater Utility and Stormwater Utility. Whereas the Sanitary Board of the City of Portage, Indiana, hereinafter the city, has recommended to increase the capacity rates and charges for the municipal wastewater utility pursuant to Resolution number 25-03 and Resolution number 25-01. Whereas the council elects to amend the capacity rates and charges for the city's municipal wastewater utility and stormwater utility. Whereas the council has conducted a duly noticeable public hearing in accordance with IC 36-9-23-26 regarding the amended capacity rates and charges as provided regarding the proposed wastewater rates and charges by users of the wastewater utility and stormwater utility owners and property served or to be served by the same or other interested persons. And for be it ordained by the City Council, Section 1, rates and charges. Municipal wastewater and stormwater and sanitation utilities are set forth in Appendix A, attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference. Section 2, conflicting ordinances. Any ordinance or provision of any ordinance of the City of Portage in conflict with the provisions of this ordinance is hereby repealed. Section 3, severability. In the invalidity of any section, clause, sentence, or provision of this ordinance shall not affect the validity of any other part of this ordinance, which can be given effect without such invalid part or parts. Section 4, effective date. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect after its passage approved by the mayor of the City of Portage and publications as required by law. Appendix A, set forth effective dates for the amended and restated rates and charges. This shall become effective after May 6, 2025. Passed and adopted by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana, on the date to be determined.
Thank you very much. That gets us to reports from city officials. Tracy, would you mind if I called you up? Not necessarily to speak about what was just read, but I think that there was something pretty cool that happened at the plant recently. At least I think there was. And if not, feel free to make something up. And no, just kidding.
So there's always something interesting happening at the plant. We've had a lot of rain recently, so we've been bringing in about 5 million gallons a day, which is about our max. We're 5.3 is what we're permitted for. We also just passed, so item requires us to do biomonitoring testing, which is, I think I've explained it before, where we send samples of water out of our wastewater and they see if the fathead minnow and different fish multiply or if they die. If they die, our water's toxic and we would fail. If they multiply, we would pass. So we have passed it again, as we always do. So knock on wood, everything's great. We did complete most of our clarifier project. We just closed on the SRF for the North Side Interceptor project, the lift station, and the UV. So that just closed on the 31st, so we're looking forward to breaking ground and starting everything with that. Besides that, everything else is going really good.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Are there
Thank
any
you.
questions? Yes, I got a question. If you could wait for the public input at the end, that'd be great.
That's why I'm here. I got questions.
No problem, sir.
Thank
And I'll just say that when Tracy first told me for the first time as mayor, because I had never heard about the test, and you know just said that the fish either die or they multiply, I asked, oh, like, are the fish around? Like, do you want to bring them like to the meeting? And you had to explain that they're too small for that to work. So next year I'm going to remember. I believe we're going to pass next year. I'll bring some goldfish just for the comedic effect. We'll let you hold them up and say, and they multiplied. And of course, then we'll have to explain that that's not really the fish involved.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's see. Did the chief of police come back? Hey, would you like to come up, Mike, or would you rather? I know that you had to leave for something, so if it's if you'd rather not, I understand. I can always make a fire department joke on my own if you need,
No, I don't have any today. Give me a minute. Maybe I'll think of something.
I'm sure you'll think of something. We had the career fair. Nothing funny
I
happened
don't even have
there?
a piece of paper or anything today. I'm just winging it. So usually I give you our statistics and things. So we switched over to a new system for the county. So it's the whole county switched over to a new report writing, new way that everything is dispatched to us through the CAD system. So whole new program in our cars. It's been an experience. We are making our way through it, but it's been quite an experience. So I'll be honest with you, I don't even know how to look up how many calls we've had yet. I was trying to figure it out, and part of it's on the old system, part of it's on the new system. So next month I'll have some numbers for you, but I assume it's been pretty steady as normal. I don't think there's been anything unusual the last month, but unfortunately I can't look that up. So I got to give some props to our officers and our clerical department, plus the 911 center, because this was a major project. It's been delayed for about 4 years. That's how many problems that there were along the way. And once we got to the point, they flipped the switch and there was no turning back, and it's been a thing. So I know the fire department has switched over to, I don't think they do the report writing side of it, so it's probably the record keeping isn't quite as intense on their end, but it's been definitely a learning experience for everybody. So proud of the way they've handled it, because change is hard, and when you change something that so much of your job is dependent on, it's even harder. So so there's that. It sounded like I missed the talk about the student government day yesterday. So did you guys make her come up and talk?
Yeah, we did.
She made it.
She did a fantastic job.
She told me yesterday she doesn't like public speaking, and then she told me again today she doesn't like public speaking. So I was going to make her come up here and give a whole dissertation. But pretty cool stuff, though. I like that. I enjoy that day every year. It's just cool to see the students, the future. I know it sounds cheesy, but it is. It's the future, and to see them come out and how they engage and the questions they ask. We had a council meeting yesterday. It was pretty cool. If you guys didn't hear about it, there were some citizens that had some issues that they wanted dealt with.
The chief did some impersonations of public demonstration, which maybe it's a good thing that meeting wasn't recorded.
Yeah, I tried to do away with the street department. The fire department's going to start plowing for us, and they're going to pick up garbage in the ambulances. That was my contribution, but it was a fun day. So and I enjoyed the new police chief. So we'll see if I get to keep my job. But and then we went and did the career day today at the high school this morning. So it was just a nice couple of days of interacting with the students and the younger generation of our city. So other than that, that's about all I've got. So unless you guys have any questions.
Any questions? We appreciate you, Chief, and I think that the fire department picking up trash and the plowing thing from yesterday suffices for your monthly.
I think so. I think it's something to look into.
Awesome. And
Thanks.
speaking of the fire department, Chief Crail, would you like to come up?
Good evening. I can assure you we will not be plowing snow or picking up garbage, at least not in those vehicles. They're way too expensive. Well, then you all would have to answer for that, not me. I would definitely like to go along with Chief Candiano's sentiments. It's definitely cool to see the younger generation sitting up here and showing interest in the government and the way that it works. There's a lot of people that don't understand how local government works, and so it is refreshing to see that they take interest in it and to understand how it works. For us, for the city, or for the month, it was starting to normalize. The beginning of the year, we were very busy, busier than we've ever been in the history of the fire department. We're starting to normalize. By normalize, I say we're still running more calls than we've ever run, but it's more at a manageable rate where we're not running the crews into the ground. We, on our side of things, we don't use the new reporting system or the new dispatch system the same way that the police department uses it. For us, it's been a breath of fresh air. For the first time in the history of the Portage Fire Department, we have station toning, which means for the firefighters that if in the middle of the night at Station 2, if they go out on a call, Station 3 and Station 1 don't hear the call. So they're actually able to get that restful sleep if they're able to, to sleep. We don't ever really sleep fully at work, but they're at least not being woke up by other stations' calls. So for us, it's been a breath of fresh air. It's been something that is long overdue, and hopefully those are steps in the right direction for our crews to suffer less stress and less instances of any possible PTSD that they may have. So it's been great for us. We did run 520 incidents for the month of March. It's a slight increase from last month. 66% of that was EMS, 13 car accidents, 9 fires, 16 hazardous conditions, and 66 calls for service. If you remember, back in February, we had an ambulance that was involved in a head-on collision. I'm happy to report that ambulance is back in service. I want to wrap my report by taking a moment to express my sincere appreciation for the outstanding work of Engineer Chuck Litzkow and Assistant Chief Roy Johnson. We got that ambulance back in service. They got that ambulance back in service in around 40 days. Fortunately, the ambulance was not, the damage didn't get into the frame rail. As soon as Chuck Litzkow found out that it didn't get into the frame rail, he was nonstop. The apparatus are very much his babies in the fire service. He takes great care of them. He did not like having an apparatus out of service that was involved in an accident. He worked diligently alongside with Chief Johnson to make sure that this ambulance got back in service as fast as possible. Without them being able to do that, we had to temporarily sign an MOU with Crown Point Fire to borrow one of their ambulances in the event that something happened where we needed another ambulance. Fortunately, now we're in a position where we don't have to utilize that MOU right now. But their commitment and passion for our mission were evident throughout the entire process. Without their expertise and perseverance, this critical resource would have remained unavailable for much longer than it was. Their efforts deserve recognition well beyond what I can express, and I am truly grateful for everything that they did. Do you have any questions for me? All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Chief. Are there any reports from standing committees?
The ordinance committee met tonight. We once again reviewed the fireworks ordinance that we tabled tonight. We did have a resident bring a concern about additional fireworks issues that we're going to look at, speak to legal about. So potentially more coming to the council at a future date.
Just curious, would that be potentially separate, or would you guys want us to coordinate with the other one?
No, it would be separate.
No
It's a different
problem.
issue.
Just wanted to offer the help if needed. That'll get us to, I don't think we have
I
any
would like-
special, oh, go ahead.
I would like to, on behalf of the Recycle and Waste Committee, we want to celebrate Earth Day, and that will be April 12th from 9 to 1 p.m. at the Porter County Expo Center. And there'll be environmentally themed vendors, reuse fair, giveaways, rain barrel design contest, guest speakers, live music, wildlife shows, local food vendors, birdhouse building, and magician also. So I'd like to just state and everybody remember, try to put it on the city page if we can.
Thank you so much. Do we have any other committee reports? Hearing none, I'll go over to the petitions, remonstrances, and public input. If this time, if you'd like to come up and speak, please do so. I'm going to try to time it to about 2 minutes per person, but just in the interest of time. But feel free to come up. I'm so sorry, Mr. Good Citizen. Liz, did we miss something on the agenda? Did we have a resolution, or is that Penny just tapped? I'm so sorry. I promise.
I don't have a resolution.
I think that's just the standard template for it. So we can check into what that is, but as long as I didn't miss something.
No, I didn't have a resolution that was submitted.
Okay, I didn't think so, but we'll get that cleared up. I'm so sorry.
Good
Go
for
ahead.
checking, though. Thanks, Penny.
Oh, no, don't be sorry for exhibiting diligence. As the public, we appreciate our public servants exhibiting diligence and other leadership characteristics that, positively impact the community. Now, while as an American, you do have the right to apologize for exhibiting the diligence you just did, as this gentleman here fought for your right to be sorry about exhibiting diligence. I want you to know I appreciate the diligence that you exhibit. Don't we have a great mayor, guys? Right? Absolutely. So a couple things. I'll try to be quick. I just emailed you, Mayor. I don't know. I had 3 pictures I was hoping possibly could be shown. If not, no worries. So I want the public to know, you guys are real. You all are real people. And the public can come right here to this building at any time, and they can see you. They can talk to you. It's a beautiful thing. Prior to today's meeting, I enjoyed some local Portage business food, some tacos, and some elotes from the food truck across the street. I supported a local business. And just like before a sporting event, you might tailgate, right, with some burgers and some dogs. Hey, anyone in the public can come and see you guys, have to support a local business, have some great, those chairs are really soft out there. Those chairs are out there for the public. They can sit in those chairs, get some good food, and come see a public meeting. So I think that's exciting. You guys are real, so I think I'm stating the obvious, but that's what I decided I wanted to state. Chuck Liskow, wow, what a great, the gentleman, having public employees that have that kind of character, that it bothers them if something is out of whack. It doesn't have to bother them. They could just say, hey, well, the city, the government to get to it when they get to it. I'm going to do my job. But what a great character. So I'm glad that Mr. Liskow and Chief Johnson, I thank you all for your service to get that running back again. Also, but you all look good. I don't know if this is a special meeting, but you all are clean today. So what I wanted to say, Mayor, I emailed you 3 pictures. If they can be added to the record, great. One of our local businesses, Benchwarmers Grill. It's like right across the street here. They have a board. Like when you walk in, you're placing your orders to the right. It's a board on the wall, and it's a board. They typed out a little thing of what the board is, and what it says is, hey, you know what? You can buy a $10 certificate and post it on the board, and that way if someone who comes who is in need, they can take that certificate and get something to eat, kind of like a local pay it forward. So I took 3 pictures of that. I don't know if anyone is aware of that. I thought that was great, and I wanted to bring that to your attention, some spirit that local businesses are exhibiting here in Portage. So again, those are my comments today. Thank you all very much for your service.
I appreciate that, Rod. I'll have something to say about it at the end, because what I'll try to do is I'll let everybody speak, and I'll take notes, so I'll address your comments at the end. Oh, Susan, would you like to come up? Come on up.
For 2 years, I tried to get some ordinance changes. Some of them have been dealt with. However, tonight I just saw the new ordinance that was passed March 4th, and I have some questions about it. Although I've never been licensed in Indiana, and my Illinois law license is in retired status, I want to make it clear I'm not giving legal opinions. Based on 23 and a half years experience handling licensing cases and information I developed through that, I have some questions, starting with the new section 1867, violations, notices, and fines. It talks about a notice of noncompliance but I don't see anything that you're supposed to be in compliance with. It also appears that there can be a fine imposed without any hearing, without any sort of burden of proof that the violation or the failure to comply with the violation notice would be done by. With regard to revocation, it says the building commissioner has the power to temporarily, sorry, I had COVID, I'm still having some issues, temporarily suspend or revoke a registration if he or she believes that there's a violation. There's no burden of proof, there's no provision for a hearing before that's done. So I'm wondering, does that violate due process? And could the city be sued if somebody's suspended without a hearing just because the building commissioner thinks it's appropriate? And then on to a hearing in front of the board, there's no provisions for hearings there either. Are things under oath? Who rules on evidence? What kind of evidence can be admitted? What's the burden of proof? Is it preponderance of the evidence, beyond a reasonable doubt, clear and convincing? Without those things, I think there are probably issues of whether or not due process is being met. And if the city suspends or revokes a license without due process, I don't know if the city council would agree, could potentially open the city up to a lawsuit for loss of business. And then I have some issues too about the changes in departments, but the mayor has assured me that we will talk about that later. So I'm
And I'll
not
say
gonna
some
bring
things
that
about
up
this
now.
too at the end, just like I was explaining to Mr.
Yeah.
Good Citizen, that if at the end, after people have said their spots, I'll respond to anything that I can or direct you to the right person.
But those are the questions I have and concerning what was just passed on March 4th.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Anyone else to speak for the council?
Good evening. I'm here tonight to address the council and the mayor regarding two proposed residential TIF districts being pursued by the RDC for Bauer Farms and Sandy Trails. I attended the March 20th RDC meeting to ask questions and express concerns with these proposed TIF districts, only to find out that there is no opportunity for public comment at RDC meetings. These two proposed residential TIF districts are the first of 5 planned TIFs that have been publicly disclosed, and all of them will eventually have to come before this council for approval. So I guess I will address my questions and concerns here, even though you have not yet had the opportunity to vote on these proposals. These proposed TIF districts will have an undeniable negative impact on the overlapping taxing units, which includes the Portage Township Trustee's Office. As the president of the Portage Township Advisory Board, my biggest concern is certainly the loss of potential tax revenue for the township, which allows us to fund the crucial services we provide to those residents who are struggling financially, as well as programming and maintenance for the Parks Department, Bonner Senior and Community Center, in addition to cemetery maintenance and management. The township has no other recourse to increase our revenue. We cannot do referendums, as the school district can do, and we cannot enact TIF districts as the city of Portage or Porter County government can do. We would never be able to increase program or facility rental fees enough to cover the amount that will be taken from us if these TIF districts are approved. Although Mayor Bonta has verbally promised that he will come up with something for the township, like the grants that he has said the RDC will be implementing for Portage Township schools, and through these grants, both the township and PTS could potentially end up with more money than we would have received through property taxes. The RDC board would ultimately have to approve any agreement for these funds, and there are currently no binding contracts or legal guarantees to ensure that the funds will continue to be given to the township over the maximum 20-year life of each TIF district. Additionally, I question how PTS and the township could ever possibly end up with more money this way while also leaving enough money for the city to fulfill their infrastructure obligations inside these TIFs, as still have money left over to fund the police and fire departments, as is the publicly stated intent for these TIF funds. Lastly, I fail to see how these two proposed TIFs pass the but-for clause in the state code. According to an article published by Purdue University titled The Use of Tax Increment Finance by Indiana Local Governments, quote, Indiana law now makes clear that TIF is intended to fund infrastructure to promote development that would not occur but for the added infrastructure financed by the TIF revenues. Evidence that the development would not happen but for the establishment of the TIF district must be presented before the TIF district is approved. TIF is not meant as a source of revenue for responding to ongoing development, nor as a substitute for other sources of infrastructure funding. TIF districts are required to expire once the infrastructure bond is repaid. TIF is not meant as a permanent source of revenue for enacting government. Given that Bauer Farms currently has approximately 10 or 12 homes already built, many of which are owner-occupied, and the Sandy Trails development has been in the works since prior to this administration and most of this council being elected, where is the evidence to support that either of these developments would not have happened but for the establishment of the TIF district? While I recognize that these 5 residential TIFs are a fiscally beneficial decision for the city and the RDC, I'm asking that you all consider the legal requirements that these developments must meet per state code, as well as the impact to the overlapping units when deciding how to vote on these proposed TIFs.
Is anyone else here to speak for the public comment? Please come up.
How you doing? My name is George Weissep. I live in the city on Bree Avenue. My question is got to do with the utilities. I have asked utilities department for a number of times, and nobody seems to know to give me an answer. But it's got to do with the increase on your utility bill. And I don't know what changed. I asked them, it's water treatment plant, the sewer plant, is any changes being made? They says, we don't know. Now, there's the utilities, in the prior years, it went up $1 each year. All of a sudden, that dollar came to 30% increase. Why? That's where I was told to ask you guys, why?
Sure thing.
30% increase, why? What changed?
After you finish speaking, I'll address your comments, just like I will with everybody else who came up to speak. I promise you. That's just the best policy for us, is to let everybody talk, and then I'll respond to things or direct you to the right
Okay.
person. Thank you.
All right.
So please stay here,
you need the papers to show you the difference or no?
I'm familiar with it. I mean, you're welcome
Okay.
to show
Good
anything,
enough.
but it might be better after the
Well, enough.
questions come.
Thank you.
Is anyone else here to speak? I'll ask one more time. Is anyone else here to speak?
Should I?
Oh, if you're here to speak about something? Oh, no?
Well, I spoke earlier.
Oh, during the, oh, okay. You're welcome to, but if you feel it's been accomplished at the ordinance committee, you don't have to come back, That is entirely up to you. All right. Well then, hearing none, I will close the remonstration period, and I will just give an initial response to things. I want to be careful, and of course, the council's able to speak after. So when it comes to the utilities department, and to address your concern there, that was a process that happened throughout last year. It first began with doing a rate study for the departments. The utility fee in the city of Portage is really 3 different bills. You have your trash bill, which is currently $20.25 a month. You have your stormwater, which is $13.75, and then you have the sewer bill, which is currently $53. It used to be $36.5, and that was a significant increase to go from $36.5 to $53. To give the most simple version of the story I can, and you're certainly welcome to watch other meetings or read the minutes of past meetings. I've written a number of things on it as well, and I'm happy to talk to you afterwards. But to make a very long story short, the city of Portage had both a blessing and a curse when it came to our sewer system. On one hand, the blessing is they built it almost throughout the whole city all at once. The curse part is that when you build something all at the same time, it can all break at the same time. And over a period of 40 years, for a number of different reasons, the city did not do the level of maintenance and repairs to the sewer system that is necessary. My predecessor began the process of addressing long-needed issues in our sewer system, and I've continued it. It's not a partisan situation. It's simply that to be a city such as ours, we need to make sure that our sewer system works. Some of the projects going on involve relining of our lines. Our projects involve improvements to the water treatment plant, which are very significant, the fixing and redoing of our North Interceptor project, as well as, Tracy, I apologize, there's a 4th point that I'm forgetting of the main 4. the lift stations. We're repairing and replacing the old lift stations. All of those are significant projects, and on top of that, we're paying for maintenance and repairs necessary to run a department of our size. One of the most important things we can do going forward, though, is not wait another 10, 15, 20, or 40 years to keep up with where things need to be. It's important to note that we are blessed that we have a public sewer utility as opposed to a private sewer utility, because by state law, we have to provide a real working one that we can pay for. And if we can't, we eventually face consequences on the legal side. Not like we go to jail, but we could be in a position where we're forced to sell to a private utility that could take care, or we reach a point where we have no other choice. I believe that the average sewer bill in Indiana is $70 or more, depending on where you go. Just next door in our neighbor South Haven, I believe it's $71 a month is the sewer bill. Ours is $53, and while I understand that it is still a significant increase to go from $36.5 to $53, it was something that unfortunately was necessary, and we had to do it sooner rather than later. Now, what is important is that in the future, we do regular rate studies so that we're able to adequately raise the rates as necessary, but not dramatically. Because you're absolutely right, it is a dramatic change, and we all went through that process of reviewing it. I don't think any of us wanted to do it, and I can assure you as mayor, I didn't want to come in my first year and have to be the guy to oversee that process. But it's extremely important, and if you like, I would direct you to speak to Tracy Marshall, and I'll come up as well after the meeting, and we can go into more detail about the issues with our sewer system and how we're fixing it at an adequate rate.
What is the total bonding investment that we're making? It's 38 million, did I say that right?
32 million. So when it comes to the residential TIFs and the proposals to do them, I want to address as broadly and simply as I can. To start, RDC does not do public remonstration meetings, public remonstration periods unless required to for a public hearing. So I apologize that you came expecting one, and feel free, of course, if you come to a meeting, if you'd like to speak, you can let me know ahead of time, and we can set that up if there's a matter to come. When it comes to the proposals on the residential TIFs, they are based on a change in Indiana law that happened very recently in 2023. Everything with the proposal is being done through legal review with our attorneys. It's something that we began working with the school system. And to a question of how could it be that a school system could get more revenue from a residential TIF proposal as opposed to the standard current property taxes that Indiana sets up, it has to do with the flexibility. The money that a school system gets, just like the money that a city gets, is put into different buckets. For the most part, the money that's impacted in most school systems in Indiana that they might lose, or you could say they don't receive in a residential TIF or a TIF in general, is money that's limited primarily to capital projects and to buses, equipment such as that. When a school system like the Portage Township School System already has a plan to handle those projects, they might be interested, and they are interested, per our conversations and meetings we've had, about ways that we can increase the grants to them, which they can use in a more flexible way. This is something that as a former teacher I take very seriously, and it's an interesting name to bring up. I hope she doesn't mind. Way back when I was a special education teacher, I had the opportunity to speak to a lady named Deb Porter about TIF. And I said, is this bad for our schools? And I'll always remember someone who I know to be of a different political party say, it depends. TIF is a tool. It's something that can be used for good. It's something that could be used, if not for outright bad, it can be used not in the best way. But it's very important that we use the tools available to local governments in a smart manner. You mentioned with the township, we've met and had a meeting with Brendan Clancy, who's the township trustee, with Dan Bowditch. And Dan did, quite frankly, a much better job than I ever could explaining how it works and how the township can be made not just whole, but not lose any money from the existence of a residential TIF, while it allows us to have flexibility with the money that we spend for public safety. To your point about how this is approved and how this all works, there is a process that involves public hearing, and it also goes through the city council. And while there is no perfect process in government, I assure you we're being as transparent as we possibly can when it comes to how we propose it, bring it before this council, and have the opportunity for you guys to ask all the questions about what we do with the TIF within the law, and quite frankly, is it in the best interest of our city? But when we face the situations that the Indiana state has put us in with how our cities and municipalities are funded, we have to be able to work together and make use of the tools that we get. I would not be being a good mayor if I wasn't exploring that option. The big thing is I've apologized to Brendan because when I came in with the residential TIF proposals, initially it was a conversation with the schools. Brendan and I have talked, and we've had, I think, a really good conversation one-on-one. We had a great meeting with Dan Bowditch. And if you'd like, I would be happy to come, even with Dan, to one of your township board meetings to go over the proposal more generally. But we can talk after this meeting if you'd be comfortable doing that. Susan, your concerns with the new ordinance. I'm not sure if what you were given was the ordinance that passed regarding licensing at the last meeting. That's great. I want to make sure, and I don't know offhand, but I can find out with you about some concerns you have might just be based on the changes made in that versus what's already in our code. Some of that has to do with what's enforceable in a state. As we talked, I'm happy to set up a time to meet with myself, the city attorney, anybody relevant to go over those concerns with you. You said a lot, and I don't want to speak any more than I can ever, but I assure you that everything that we did there has been legally reviewed. And then bench warmers and the board. Rod, how are you doing? Phenomenal. Wonderful. I should probably take this jacket off. I'm like, why am I? Sorry. I actually shared a post. I'm going to keep it on. It'd be weird to take it off at this point. I actually shared a post on Facebook. I don't remember how long ago it was when bench warmers first started doing that. And I thought it was wonderful then. I think it's wonderful now that they do it. And I got your email that you mentioned. I'm happy to put those up online. And as long as we're allowed, I don't mind sharing it on the city page too. But I don't control the city page. Someone else does to make sure I never do something crazy or, go on a rant that appears to be the city. But no, I love what they do. And thank you for bringing that to the attention of the community. Anything else from the council? I only have one more thing. Dan?
Sorry, something slipped my mind. Can I come up and mention it to council and everybody so they can hear it?
Sure. Is it good news, bad news?
No, it's good news.
Okay.
It reminded me when Gina said something, I'm like, oh, I forgot about this. The utility department is selling their rain barrels again. It's that time of season, okay? The rain barrels are $57.50, the resident pays $28.50, and then we subsidize the $29. The sale date, the last day to order them is April 16th, and the pickup is April 21st. It is on our website and both Facebook pages for the city. If all else fails, you can call our office at 763-2986. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. Like I said, when Gina mentioned it, I was like, oh, I knew there was something I was missing to get up and say. So thank you very much.
Will you tell us where we pick those up at?
At our field office over on Old Porter Road, over by the plant. So now I know, and if you order it online, there is a fee if you use a credit card, okay? And also if you go on, you can have them delivered to your house, but again, there's a fee for that to happen. Okay.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Sorry, I just...
No, it's all right. My last thing for the council, I wanted to check with you guys. Mr. Cherry, I wasn't sure. I know we have a developer with a proposal that wanted to know about a special meeting. Do we know time-wise on that, too? Do you think it'd be better for us to address that separately than here? Okay. I'll just say that we have some people already know, it kind of made some news, that we have a big retail development that's being proposed in the city. They've requested to see if we could have a special meeting when it comes time to bring them before the city council, rather than fitting it in between a longer meeting. But if we don't have dates kind of nailed down they're asking for, it might be better to contact you guys separately once we know that, as we do for other special meetings. Anything else to bring before the council?
I'm going to leave some flyers at the entrance there on information on the waste and recycling and the different things that we recycle and where to do them.
So I just want to clarify on the
so
special
sorry,
meeting.
yeah. But
Are they asking for a special meeting just for them, or do they need a special meeting because our next meeting isn't in enough time.
It's a time issue, so they asked if that would be possible.
So like they need us to meet in April because we can't get this done in time for the May meeting? Or are they asking for a special meeting because like it's going, like they have a big presentation and they don't want to take up our agenda at our May meeting?
I was initially under the impression it had to do with the level of presentation, but if there is a time crunch related to the development.
Those issues, so.
If,
We can handle this via email.
I wasn't sure if they had responded to you yet today with some proposed dates. If they did, I would bring it to the council here, but yeah. That's okay. And I'm sorry, Gina, I think we interrupted you, or maybe I missed that.
I'm just going to leave some flyers at the entrance there on the recycling process and the different things the county collects for smoke detector and battery disposal, drop-off recycling locations that we have, electronic and light bulb recycling, mulch and compost, plastic bag recycling, and outreach education events that they carry.
Thank you so much.
Can I say one more thing? It's about complimenting the fire department. I forgot.
As long as, yes, I think I can, but I think I have to pound real quick to let
I'm
you back
sorry.
in.
Early February, I got very sick with COVID. I collapsed on the floor, couldn't get up. The EMTs from the fire department came. They used the code, got into my apartment, got me to the emergency room, was in the hospital 8 days, bedridden. They were amazing, absolutely amazing.
Thank you
And
so
That was
much.
probably the most important thing I should have said before.
No problem. I'll close the public remonstration again.
Sorry.
No problem. All right, anything else, or is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.